Okay, so I thought I would do a little breakdown and run you through the presentation that I did on our call the other day. Now, this is about removing the sales ick. Now, the sales ick, obviously I'll explain this in a minute, but basically it's a feeling of like being uncomfortable, in like any sort of process, in the sales process or anything like that. It's basically when you feel a bit maybe like cringy or inauthentic or something like that. And it's fairly common and it happens for a number of reasons, but I thought I would just break this down and give you an opportunity to understand this feeling, understand what it is, understand where it comes from, and understand how you can, remove the actual sales ick. So let's dive into this real quick. What is the sales ick? Now, the sales ick is a feeling that someone gets when they're selling. Maybe they're inexperienced or something like that, and they just feel a bit cringy, they feel a bit uneasy, they feel a bit like, or they feel like this is a very inauthentic way to selling. And it's when you actually feel uncomfortable in a sales situation, and it makes you feel like you're being like sleazy, and it makes you feel as if you're just like selling to someone. It doesn't feel like you're actually building a relationship and solving a problem. It feels like you're just being salesy. And I've had it. I've spoken to a lot of people who've had it, and it's not really a pleasant feeling. It's not something that's very nice to go through, and obviously there's a number of reasons as to why this happens, which I'm going to address in a moment. But another sort of symptom or another sign of the sales like ick feeling is when you feel like you have to change or alter your personality or your persona in order to sell. And it feels as if you're switching on a character when it comes to sales calls, and it feels like you're just playing the role of someone else whenever you're on a sales call, which is another dead giveaway, that you've got the ick for sales, or you're feeling this sort of sales ick. And another sort of indicator of this is you might feel uncomfortable talking about the price, or you might feel uncomfortable talking about the money side of things when it comes to sales. So where does it come from? Now, there's a couple of reasons that people feel that the sales ick is completely normal in sales. I think that you've got to go through this feeling in order to progress in sales. Now, one way which I see the most common is that people are being taught to sell in a way that doesn't align with their personality, their morals, their value, and the style of sales that they're using is very uncomfortable and very inauthentic to that person's true self. Now, the way I like to think about it is that you might be taught to sell maybe by like a coach, a business mentor, or you might see other influencers selling this way and you think that you have to do it. And you're a dolphin and you're selling currently like a shark. So you're going out there, you're hunting, you're going hard on sales, but it might because maybe you have to, or maybe that's all you've been taught through a coach or a mentor or anything like that. And it's actually causing you to feel inauthentic, and it actually causes you to burn out over time, and it just doesn't feel very comfortable. It's obviously your responsibility, but at the same time, it might be the only way that you've ever learned to sell. You might be fresh into sales, you might not have had any sales experience, and then this is the way that you've been taught to sell, and it doesn't necessarily align with your personality and your values as a person. So I'll just tell you about myself. Like I can do both. I can be a bit of a shark and I can be a bit like on it when it comes to sales, but then I can also be like the dolphin, and I can also be really relaxed, really laid back when it comes to sales. But I've actually noticed, me personally, the relaxed side of selling, the laid back side, the chilled out side is very comfortable for me, and I feel my best, and I feel like in that flow state when I'm actually selling this way. I don't feel very good when I'm basically trying to like hard sell someone and stuff like that, and I have done it before, and it doesn't feel comfortable for me, and it gave me a lot of lessons, and it taught me a lot about myself and how I like to sell. And being more chilled out and be more relaxed is my style, and it might be different for you. You might be a shark, which is okay. You know, there's nothing wrong with being a shark and being on the ball and being like aggressive when it comes to sales, because that type of person does very well in sales. But then you've also got the other type of people who are like me, who also do very well because they're more relaxed, they build relationships and everything like that. So it really depends on your personality. But if you're feeling this ick from sales, you might want to consider the style of selling that you're undertaking, and maybe try a method, try a way that falls more in line with your personality. So maybe you want to be more chilled out, for example. Now, you also, and this was me as well, you might have an uncomfortable mindset, or the incorrect mindset towards money and actually the exchange of money. Now, the reason that I say this is because if you are someone who puts money on a pedestal, and if you're someone who sees money as like the be all and end all, like I used to, then you're going to feel uncomfortable when it comes to money. You're going to feel uncomfortable when it comes to the exchange of money, which means that whenever like a financial transaction is taking place, you feel a bit uncomfortable, you feel a bit uneasy, which obviously then leads to you having this feeling. And the way you actually fix this, and this is something that I actually did, was I watched a lot of podcasts and listened to a lot of sales podcasts, and I realized that money is just the middleman. Like, money is just an exchange tool that two people use to get a solution that they both want. And since I thought about money in this way, since I thought about money in this light, it all changed for me, because I wasn't putting money on a pedestal. I wasn't putting it like above and beyond everything else. I was just seeing it as like, it's just a tool and a resource. Exactly like collecting and chopping down trees for wood is a resource. Money is the same. It's used today in 2024 for exchange services, to exchange goods. And this contributes massively to feeling like the ick in sales. Now, the last two things, are very, very, very alarming things. Well, the last one's alarming, but the first one isn't so alarming. So you might feel an ick because you might have a lack of skill in a certain area. Now, this is really easy to fix because all you have to do is get better at it. Now, I've spoken to a lot of people inside the school, inside my community, that feel a bit uncomfortable selling, or feel a bit uncomfortable doing outreach or on a call, and they actually feel that way because they lack the skills. So because they lack the skills, they go about it in a way that they think they have to go about it, which leads to them being inauthentic and not falling in line with their true personality. And it goes back to anything. If you are competent in a certain area, then you're going to be confident. And sales is no different. If you are confident in a certain area, if you're competent in a certain area, then you are going to be confident in that area, and you're not going to feel icky. You're not going to feel uncomfortable. So if you feel uncomfortable doing like cold calls, if you feel uncomfortable doing outreach, if you feel uncomfortable doing sales calls, then what you need to do is take the time necessary to sit down, identify where you don't feel comfortable and why you don't feel comfortable, and then learn the skills necessary to make sure that you are comfortable. Now, the last reason why people get an ick with sales is that they do not truly believe in themselves, or they don't believe in the service that they are actually selling. Now, I'll be totally honest with you, I struggled massively with self-belief. I struggled with imposter syndrome, and I've also been a part of things that I didn't necessarily believe in. Now, it's very important to you that you believe in yourself first, because you are the person who is responsible for your own sales skills and your sales success. It's very, very, very important to make sure that you believe in yourself. Now, I don't actually have any advice for that, because I think it just comes from doing hard work and achieving things. I think if you put work in every single day and you show up and you keep promises that you make to yourself, you're going to have self-belief, because you know that you can show up every single day regardless. And that's something that I've tried to do recently. I've done a lot more of, is getting it done, showing up, which obviously then improved my self-belief. And the hardest thing for me, the hardest two things that I have always found, is getting up early and cold showers. And if you can attack those two things head on, you can find two things that you really struggle with and attack them head on, you are going to feel a lot better, and you're going to have a lot more self-belief. That is how I've attacked it. I'm not an expert at all in like self-belief and stuff like that. So you'll have to obviously read a book, find an expert about it. But that's what's worked for me. Now, in terms of believing in your service or believing in what you're selling, now, if you are working for someone else, then you need to change the person that you're working for or get a better understanding of that service. I've been in situations where I haven't really understood or haven't really believed in the service that I was offering, and I've either learned more about it or I've dropped that and done something else. It's very important that you believe in your service and you believe in what you're selling, because that energy will be very apparent on a call or in the sales process. If you don't 100% believe in the product or the service that you are selling, then it's going to come through on the end, and they're going to feel that. They're going to feel the uncertainty. They're going to feel the lack of energy, and they're just not going to buy from you anyway. So the two things that you can do is you can ask yourself why you don't believe in that. What is it about the service? What is it about the product that you don't necessarily believe in if it's someone else's? If it's yourself, then you just need to prove it to yourself that your product is worth it. And if you start a business, maybe a coaching business or something like that, I maybe feel that if you get a lot more results and if you get a lot more validation, you're not only you can validate internally by the external validation of other people, and that gives you even more confidence. But if you have your own service, there's no reason for you not to believe in that, because you wouldn't start it otherwise. Now, it's always important to find out why about everything. So why don't you believe in it? Where does this come from? Where does the belief come from? And what would need to happen for you to believe in your service? And this is crucial, because the energy when you believe in your service and you believe in what you're selling is so different. It's like when I sell my school, my paid community, my closer circle, I know that it is so valuable. I do not flinch when I'm selling it, because the ticket is good, the offer's even better, and the results are incredible. I do not flinch when saying that. I do not flinch when selling it, and you can feel that energy directly or indirectly, and then you know that it's a good investment, and your subconscious is telling you that it's a good investment because of the way that you felt the energy. But if I was sat here talking about the closer circle and I was like, yes, it's good, yeah, it's really good, the courses in there are really good, like, notice the energy difference, like, notice how much your perception of things changes, and notice how differently you feel compared to what I just said about it, the closer circle being incredible and the courses are fucking awesome. Like, you feel that difference, and if you feel it, then the people that you're selling to are going to feel it too. So you need to really make sure that your energy is right, because they are going to feel it on the other end. Okay, so where does this feeling normally take place? And this is after me having conversations with different people. So normally happens in the outreach process, big time. Like I said earlier, lack of skills, and it's normally the first couple of messages to that person that you feel a bit icky, you feel like it's forced, you feel like it's fake, you feel like it's salesy. This is because you're outreaching in the wrong way, and you've got the incorrect mindset, towards outreach. Now, obviously, I've got a full setting course that is completely for free in my school, so you can look at that and find out how to outreach in a way that falls in line with you and makes you feel a lot more comfortable in your sales process. It can also come up when you're asking someone for money, as to the reason I said earlier about your money mindset, because you feel like money is the be-all and end-all of everything. It can also come up when you're handling an objection, because you feel like it's salesy and you feel like it's forced. Then it can also come up when you're talking about your prices, because of the money side of things, your money mindset, the way that you view money and the way that you value money is obviously in the incorrect sort of mind frame. And then it can come up when you're asking someone for a call. Now, the two best ways to handle, the best way to handle feeling like this in these two processes, handling the objection and asking someone for a call, is to have genuine confidence in what you do and realize that you are providing value to someone's life. Now, when I talk about my school, I feel absolutely no shame in talking about it. I have no shame in promoting it, because I know that it is actually valuable and it can help people change their lives. Now, if you are, in my opinion, if you are selling a product that you know is going to change someone's life and you are shouting about it from the rooftops, you're telling every single person about it, there's nothing wrong with that, because if you feel like people not knowing about your product or not having your service is a genuine disservice or has a genuine negative impact on their life, or your product might change their life, then I don't think there's anything wrong with that, because At the end of the day, we all want to help people become the best versions of themselves, and in return, we want to become the best versions of ourselves. So if you're taking the time to really make people aware of your product and your service, and you're trying to reason with people to get them to obviously take the step and to start improving their lives, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I feel like the immoral side of it comes when your product isn't that good and you're just trying to hustle people for money, and you're objection handling just to get their cash, just to pump it into your bank account for a service that isn't necessarily that good. But if you have a life-changing service and you're just helping someone see that, then I personally don't feel like there's anything wrong with that. So those are the two ways to get over the feeling in these areas here. And then the rest is just mindset, and then the outreach process. So the rest here, the asking someone for money and talking about your prices, is just about changing your relationship to money and changing the way that you look at money. You need to see it as a tool. I'm going to use my money to purchase courses, to purchase various miscellaneous items, services, to improve my current standing, to improve my current position. That is how you need to see money, not as a case of, I need to hold on to it. Because if you do that, you're going to hold on to money, have not that much amount of it, and have no skills. Whereas in life, you get paid for the value you create and the skill set that you actually have. Now, how do you get rid of it? How do you rid this feeling from you completely? So, tip number 1, like I said to you need to sell in line with your personality. If you are more of a relaxed person when it comes to your sales, you do not need to be hard selling people, pulling people over the line by their hair, dragging them over by their teeth, and you can actually be more relaxed and chilled out with sales. You don't need to be pushing and just gunning for people, because it doesn't feel in line with your personality. It doesn't feel in line with who you are and what type of person you are. And you're actually pushing people away by doing this, because they can sense the energy, they can sense that it's inauthentic. Whereas if you're very relaxed and you're very chilled out, it's going to attract people because they can sense the energy, they can sense the type of person you are, and they can actually sense that you are someone to be trusted. If you can't trust yourself to act in line with your personality, then how are other people going to trust you? Point number 2, reframe the way that you look at money. Change your relationship to money. Realize there's just a bartering tool. Take it off the pedestal that it's on and just relax. Realize there's just numbers on a screen and people use it as a middleman to get what they want. If you wanted to join my school, the middleman is money. That is it. Like, you just need to look at it like that. It's not the be all. It's not the end all. Like, yes, I know money's important and you have bills to pay, but at the end of the day, the reason that you pay those bills is so that you can have something else, and the money is just the middleman between that. And if you don't have any confidence or anything like that, then you need to really deep dive into why, first of all. And then you need to realize that if you're a service provider like myself with my sales school, you need to realize that you are genuinely changing people's lives, and you're not promoting your product correctly, and you're not giving it to people in the DMs. That's actually negligent, because you are not helping them. You are not giving them an opportunity to become better. You're actually damaging their future by not making them aware of it. Now, I know you can sit there and you can say that's really fucking salesy and X, Y, and Z, but it's true. Like, if there was someone who was suffering with being overweight and they couldn't walk and their mobility was skewed by it, it would be a disservice for a coach who specializes in radical weight loss to not reach out to them and to help them. Like, it's not sales if you are genuinely helping people. It is sales, but it's not salesy or it's not immoral if you are genuinely helping people. If you are genuinely providing value to people's life, and if you are genuinely helping people improve their situation and improve their livelihood, there is nothing wrong with that at all. It's just a case of you're making them aware and you're showing them the benefits. That is it. This whole argument about sales and it being wrong and immoral, it does my head in, because, like, you are helping people improve their lives, whether you're a mindset coach, whether you're a health coach, whether you're a sales trainer, whether you're an accountant, you are helping people improve their lives. And you need to remember that, because if you feel bad about selling to people, or if you feel bad about asking people for money, realize that you're not asking them for money to pay you to just sit on your ass and do fuck all. You are suggesting that they give you money in exchange to get them to point B and to get them where they actually want to be. That is very, very important. And for every single person that feels like they have to switch on their sales side, like I have felt in the last couple of months, it means that you're not selling a product, you're not selling a service that you genuinely believe in. And you're almost seeing it as like you have to fake a personality or fake behavior in order to sell it to them. Now, what you need to do there is you need to identify why you feel that way. You need to either fix it, or you either need to change the vehicle that you're in and change what you're selling. There are endless services and endless products out there that you can sell. Just because you're on one now and it doesn't feel like it's authentic to you and it doesn't feel like something that you're genuinely passionate about, you do not need to sell it. Just find something else. It's not that hard. There are always people who are going to want good salespeople to work for them. And it's very, very important that you do sell something that you are proud of and something that you believe in, because, like I said earlier, that energy just attracts. It's very important that your energy is correct, because you can feel it internally, and the other person on the other end of the phone or the other end of the Zoom call can feel it too. And if you don't have the correct energy, people are not going to buy from you. But I hope this has helped. I hope this has helped you feel better about sales, and I hope this helps you make it more authentic to yourself and make sales a bit more fun and more. And I hope you feel more confident, so that you can feel more competent, so you can act more and get better results. I hope you found this valuable wherever you're watching it. If you're watching this on YouTube, the link to join my school, where I talk about this all the time, is there. Get yourself involved, make sales a bit better for you, and start making more money from selling. If you're already in my community, I hope you've enjoyed this, and I'll speak to you soon.